They'll be calling you a radical. So, again, this is information not by the marine biologists, the scumbags. No, the people that are paid all your taxes to get us information. This is grassrooters. Now, the LA Times is reporting one of the surfers. So, I've been talking to a lot of surfers in San Onofre. I mean, a lot of my friends that live there, including Peter in San Diego. A lot of people that I'm totally connected with. Again, we have to grassroots this. This is unbelievable. The sharks are not migrating to Mexico. They should be in Mexico, the juvenile, all of them. I mean, the ocean's out of whack. I mean, you people need to wake up and come out of it. It's totally out of whack. This is my work. When I walked up the coast, and I saw so many creatures out of whack. When the snakes were coming up, they shouldn't even be there. But the grays giving birth at Monterey, they're inebriated. They're weak. You know, these idiots were saying, there was a marine biologist that actually said that there was a lot of fish right there. They're starving. They can't make it. It's really simple. These animals are inebriated. That's all the whales washing up dead. You can see, I've saw the dead whales. I've been there. You can see how skinny they are. That's where I got my art degree, believe it or not, right there in that building. Wow. So, what a journey. So, I want to get back to the salmon numbers. Another thing, I want to talk a little bit about open heart surgery. I've done a lot of reading, It's important that your skin comes back on your wound. I want to say this to people. On the AFib, after the surgery, whatever, it's important, you know, get some sun on that wound. The skin is very important. The skin is really important on your heartbeat rate. I mean, that heart's an incredible thing. I mean, has its own separate nervous system. I mean, it's amazing. Really. And, you know, in symphony with the rest of your body. So, I want to get back to the salmon numbers. So, they've had some pretty good numbers on the copper the last few days. Running almost exactly what it was running last year. Now, remember, last year was projected on the copper 1.7 million. It's early. You know, they came in at 800,000. Okay, the Willamette, I've talked to several guys up there in the last few days, say there's fish have showed up. You know, thank God. But they're still, I mean, even when they get a nice little run here or there a few days, they're still running at 85% collapse of projected numbers. The Bonneville, which I do not believe them. I mean, right when all the emergency closures, they started getting some stronger numbers. I do not believe them. I think they're liars under the Mitchell Act. I think they're, you know, criminal bastards is what I think, because I'm talking again, grassrooters, no, won't do their job. The Army engineers surely won't do their job. LifeCam's been out for how's that even possible, LifeCam? It's been out for 3 years. I called him, I says, fuck, I'll send you up a GoPro. Fuck, there's one on eBay right now underwater that was Wi-Fi hookup. YouTube will tell you right now they can handle up to 10 million views an hour. They say it's because of too much volume. 3 years. So anyway, even with their lie numbers, they're sitting at what, 85,000? Remember, their lowered, hammered down projection this year was 170,000. Ha! It's almost over. This is the spring run. I got to guess they're getting some of the June hogs early. And I'm talking to lots of grassrooters up there. They say these things are skinny. What's his name today told me he caught one that he says he could actually see this for the first time in his career. This guy's 60-something years old. See the bones through the skin. They're coming in. Same with the copper. I mean, I talked to the market again today. Here, they've got some copper in, $28 a pound. I says, they're scrawny. You sure those are Copper River Kings? Yeah, right. And so, she says, I've never seen them so small, ever. So, the ocean, you can go into now about the Great Pacific Genocide all the fuck you want. You know, you could say, oh, it's acidification, it's the fucking blood. It's like when you're talking about cancer, you're talking about this heart fucking going on you. You want to talk, oh, cure. What about cause? I mean, let's get real. What caused the blob? What caused, the drought? I don't think so. We've had droughts just as severe before. Just as severe. I mean, I remember Kiko Kaka says a 500-year drought, and we're going to go back to, there's going to be a tired day. I'm like, this fucker's lost his fucking mind. That's the same, 2 days earlier, I heard him do an interview talking about walking around with your virtual pets. That fucker, if he's not smoking a lot of fucking weed, maybe I should start. He's lost his fucking cookies. All these fucking fake scientists have lost their fucking minds. But these derelicts that are government officials, that are paid to do all this work, they're not doing it. These marine biologists are that disconnected. They're that fucked up. So I talked to my friend that lives, I mean, he eats, sleeps, drinks San Onofre. I mean, his whole fucking life, that's all he does. I told him I got out of that water 30 years ago. I've known him since I was a kid, since I was a little boy. And this fucking guy knows his shit on the ocean. He says, the LA Times are reporting they're not, and he says, oh, I guarantee it, they're right here right now. And I says, they should be in Baja. Oh yeah, they're not going. They're staying there. Why? Because, well, number one, let's talk about Mexico dumping in their fucking sewer. That's a piece of it. All this fucking contributing, but the bottom line is they're inebriated creatures. Like the Greys. The Greys have been giving birth in Monterey. Think about that. That's 1,000 miles north. I mean, the babies getting eaten. The orcas are in fucking Monterey Bay when they should be eating the fucking salmon at the mouth of the Columbia. I mean, this whole fucking ecosystem is completely out of fucking whack. And you could say all this, that, the other thing, but let's get real. 2,276 fucking days of the worst fucking known substance in the history of humankind by a fucking billion times over. Full blown out nuclear meltdowns. It never happened before. Never. Never. Didn't even happen in Chernobyl. Remember they sent in 580,000 men to entomb it. I mean, Gorbachev, listen to what he says about it. I mean, the last of the fucking great fucking anti-nuclear fucking leaders will kill Gorbachev. He says the same thing about Fukushima. All of the world is, why has the world not descended on? I mean, that is the big question. There's the question all of you should be asking. Why is it possible that they have not descended on this thing and they just let it go on? Eugenics on Balco. Just remember one thing. John Holden was head of the science and technology team. He's a eugenist. Look him up. Look him up. He wrote his PhD on it. Fucking whack job. I mean, really a creepy fucker. I mean, he's in hiding. So then Trump plays along. He's the first one in the fucking towers. He's the first one in the fucking, White House. High five. Fucking, please allow me to introduce myself. What's his name from the Mets? I got that from the Mets the other day. He says, please allow me to reintroduce myself. Go team. So nobody's going to break fucking ranks. And it blows my mind that these officials, like when the Muirs all washed up at Bristol Bay, that was a retired guy, and he got to Channel 11. I think it was his niece worked there, and they got over there, and the marine biologists and all, It's like, I've got some serious problems going out on our land, contamination, these corporate welfare farmers. I talked to everybody. I had the state up there today. They just pass the buck. I mean, these are derelicts that don't fucking work. It's like the dead fucking birds at Pismo. That's my work. The dead fucking great. That's my work. I don't get a check. These marine biologists all over these universities, whatever, they're mystified, they're fucking puzzled. They don't do any work. I'm a real PhD. I'm a real scientist. I do the your hypothesis, but you have to do the fucking work. I've done the fucking work. Full of leukemia. Fucking open heart fucking surgery. And relentless, because that's the way it has to fucking be. This is the greatest story in fucking human history. It has to be fucking told. It has to be recorded. So the salmon numbers are pathetic. Let's get real. Let's get real. They're fucking pathetic. They crashed last year. Record escapement, record escapement, record escapement. This is not drought. These spring Chinooks go to sea for 5 years. They crashed last year while everybody was asleep and wouldn't listen to me. Oh, they're listening to me now. I'm talking to people up there. All you fishermen that are against me, you're some stupid motherfuckers is all I got to say. I've been on your team the whole time. I've been up there all over this coast. I remember there's been lots of fishermen. A guy right here from Coos Bay jumped to me. He says, oh, fuck, it's Kevin Lynch. You fucking... I said, how the fuck am I losing your fish, you stupid fucker? Shut the fuck up. Don't talk to me like that. That's the beat. If you're going to be in an environment, you got to be tough. You got to be strong. Because these punks get in your face, you got to get right the fuck back in them. Because that's the way they play. Because they're degenerate. They're against themselves. How you going to fish when there's no fucking fish? Fucking... So... The Alaskan Fishing Council guy was a fucking arrested and ticketed opening day on the Copper. Because, oh God, well, there's so many fish. I remember this asshole last year says, oh, there's so many fish on the Fraser, they shouldn't be closed. That's just regurgitation. Fucking, just like the nuclear industry when there's an accident. They have this in their head and they just regurgitate it no matter what the facts are. The fucking Fraser's in 99%. I mean, it's borderline fucking extinction. I mean, the famous tea club last year, what, 10 legal fish, thousands of fishermen for days. I mean, how about the bookings, fucking slamming salmon, fucking 400 fishermen, fucking, they're the best in the world, you know, trying to get those fucking prizes. Look at the numbers they caught. They catch 14 fucking fish each day. 14! 400 fishing, 400 square fucking miles, the best fishermen. I mean, come on. Come out of denial, fuckheads. So, you fishermen that go after me, you're some dumb motherfuckers. Look, I'm on your team. I try to preserve. I remember in the old days, the hunter, the fisherman, the sportsman, they were fierce environmentalists. They wanted to protect. You know, they went fly fishing because they wanted to be in symphony with the animals. And I think now it's just slaughtering. I mean, fuck, think about it. You go fishing on the Columbia, a lot of people don't even fucking clean their own fish. I mean, what the fuck? You know, denial is not a river. It's a dead fucking Pacific Ocean. So the sharks, it fits my thesis. You know, and again, as grassrooters, having to do the reporting, have to do the work. These marine biologists, these people that work for NOAA, these environmental protection agencies that are paid to do all this, they refuse to do their fucking jobs. They're derelicts. We're making a living off other people's taxes and we do not hold them accountable. Oh, I fucking do. I'm in their face. I was in this guy's face today. I'm like, you fucking liar. You know, you're paid to do this. You know they're over the legal limits. Fucking, you know, we've tested. I had to independently test. Look at how fucking they're over. And you refuse to police this. Do you know anything about Flint, Michigan? And I will say this to all you NOAA fucks. You fucking Army Corps engineer fuckers. We're fucking watching. And like I said, do you think Barack Obama's going down for Flint, Michigan? You had to think the EPA, which they should. Where's the graph GPM? But the government official who lied and knew, and that's what I told this guy. Well, they knew and lied. And I said, so do you, fuckhead. Same all up and down for NOAA, same with the EPA, same with all kinds of the California paid people. They're derelicts that refuse to do their fucking job. I say we start charging them. It's like the university president, finally one of them went to jail. University president, for the first time I've ever heard of, went to jail. And for what? The Penn State. Let's fucking worship Joe Paterno. Fucking pedophile creeps. That fucking NCAA is so corrupt, they should have got the death sentence. You know, so they got 2 months in jail and the rest house arrests. I mean, think about it. Turn the other eye. I mean, that's the country we live in. Go team. Bow to the NCAA look, the NCAA is a group of fucking lawyers. Money doesn't go back. You, the taxpayer, pay those coaches. You know. What a fucking loot job fucking NOAA's turned out to be. You know, Alaska does a pretty good fucking job up there. You know, I trust their numbers. And, you know, they guard it. And they drop the Copper River way down. They say they've caught more than the allotment. They say they've caught 6,600 when they, you know, said they can only catch 5,000. But, you know, you got to protect them, you know. You got to fucking err on the side of caution. They do a good job in Alaska. They do. You know, they know how important it is. But Oregon, they're pathetic. You know who's even more pathetic? The state of Washington. WFW are fucking pathetic, derelict fucks. Fucking live cam Army Corps engineers out for 3 fucking years. That's corruption. That's Tim's fucking, we've been working it and we're like, we want you to sign off. We want to know who's fucking counting and we want a fucking signature and we want notarized. You know, it's time. I mean, at some point we're going to have to make citizens arrest. That's all there is to it. These fucking derelict liars. So the sharks have stopped. You know, I've been there my whole life. You know, my dad fucking right there at San Onofre. That's Camp Pendleton. I've been there my whole life. Well, you know the sharks move through, but they're gone. And they're in fucking Mexico. Not this year. They're staying just like the grays, giving birth. The fucking ocean is completely out of fucking whack. Because the food force. It's your biology. It's your pseudo-de facto theology. It's your pseudo-de facto sociology. It's the fucking ecology, stupid. Doc fucking Blanche fucking Ricketts on chemo. Oh yeah, Doc Ricketts didn't have an official degree. And by the way, I awarded myself this PhD, the Great Pacific. I awarded it because there is no peer. You know, I'm going to award Dana Dunford one too, because I am the fucking peer. I just did. There's Dunford's fucking PhD. Here you go, Dunford. Official fucking, one of the greatest PhDs in human history. I just gave it to you. Stay on tune it.